This is something she wanted to cover for us to have a discussion about. And Frederica, what made you want to discuss this particular topic? For us to Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry. Was trying to unmute myself. Um, well, basically, the reason why I chose this topic is because I've been going through it lately. um, and there's been a lot of things going on, both personally and professionally. Um, but one situation that basically made me choose this topic was the fact that um I volunteer with different organizations. I'm not going to name any specific organizations because I don't want nobody saying, oh, she was talking about y'all, this and that, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter what the organization name is. But this particular organization, I was sitting on the board um, and had been sitting on the executive board for the past 3-4 years. Um, and during that time, a lot of stuff was happening behind the scenes that a lot of people did not see. There was a lot of cliquish behavior, I should say. There was a lot of side talk, a lot of what you would call bullying. There was a lot of different little things that were going on and things that I just was not comfortable, with. There were people that were But one of those things was just me not just not feeling heard and not feeling seen, not feeling like, people are taking my ideas seriously. Um and just not being just basically they're being team players with each other, but not being team players with me. And then at the same time making it seem like, oh, she's crazy, oh, this and that, blah blah blah. And it's not something that I can say that I wanted to be a part of. um as far as like this being like this bad girls club type of thing, and oh, it's us against her, and oh, because we're in a certain position, we're better than her, our ideas matter more than hers, and just all type of stuff. And it really made me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, if we're all supposed to be on a team, so to speak, and we all have this one objective that we're supposed to be working towards, then why is it that you're making me feel like an outsider when I'm literally like pouring my heart and my soul into this particular organization and into the mission that we're trying to accomplish. Um, and so I just got to the point where, I tried talking to, different people one on one, saying, hey, when you say stuff like this or when you do stuff like this, it makes me feel a certain type of way. And it never really seemed to help. It seemed like it did more damage than it did anything. So I just got to the point where I just could not take it anymore. So earlier this year, back in, I would say, the later part of March, the early part of April, um, I had a conversation with then it was the president elect, but they're the president now of the board. Um, and I was on the fence about staying on the board for this new year. Very much so on the fence because of everything that I had been going through the last, few years or whatever with the board. And this year it's a whole new board. And I had to have a conversation with the new president, like, hey, if XYZ is gonna be going on, then I don't want to be a part of it. Like, I've been going through this, this happened, these things were said about me I was personally attacked. My character was personally attacked on so many different levels. And I'm just not going to stand for that. So if this is what is going to be going on, then I don't, I don't need to be a part of this, at all. So I had to walk away because at the beginning of this new year, all of a sudden, things were going okay. But then all of a sudden it started to be to where I was again constantly like being disrespected, um, being talked about, being laughed at. It was the same cliquish behavior. And so I had to remind the president, I was like, hey, we had this conversation a few months ago. And I told you that one of the conditions for me to stay on was that this type of behavior for me is unacceptable. And I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to tolerate the disrespect. I'm not going to tolerate the cliquish behavior, the back talk, the bullying. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. Like, you want the access that I have, you want the connections that I have, the expertise that I have, the knowledge that I have, but it's like you don't want me here as a person. And I don't want to be made to feel like you just want the access and the connections, but you don't want me here. I don't want to be made to feel like that under no circumstances and in no situation. So I told him, I said, listen, I told you that I was going to walk. I said, the first sign of all of this, I was going to walk simply because I had already been through all of this for years with the previous board. And I just was not going to do that with this board. I just was not going to do it at all. Mm-hmm. So I had to walk. I had to walk. And it wasn't an easy decision for me. I can't say that. I did pray about it. And it wasn't something that it was just like, okay, Frederica, just, you need to just walk away now. This was something that happened over the span of the few months, in the time that the new board had taken over. And I was trying to give it some time, like, hey, maybe we need to go through this little transition period and, get certain things out of the way. But when certain things become a constant and certain things become, you know, a habit, so to speak, that's when I have to walk away because I can't tolerate someone disrespecting me, not only to my face, mm-hmm, but also behind my back. And then when you need something from me, then you want to smile and, oh, Frederica, da 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 da. I'm like, no, well, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And I know some people will be like, well, just whatever, it's the organization, it's a nonprofit, just tough it out, this and that, blah, blah, blah. No, that's what we're not going to do. It's only so much faking you can do in the world. And at some point, you have to have some type of boundaries, both professional and personal. You have to have some type of boundaries to allow people to continue to disrespect you in any capacity, in any situation, under any circumstance. It actually should not be tolerated. You should never allow somebody to continuously disrespect you, especially when you have told them, hey, I've gone through this, I've been through this person said this to me, and then they turn around and do the exact thing that you just told them that somebody else did to you. You got to know when to walk away because now you're choosing to be part of the problem instead of being a part of the solution. And that's what I can't do. That's what I can't do. And that's something that I'm not going to tolerate. So I had to walk away. I hated it because, I hated walking away, but, well, I'm not going to say hate because that's a strong word, but it was really hard for me to walk away because the organization is something that it deals with children. And, children are my heart, my soul, and anything dealing with children, I pour my all into. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Um, So it does hurt. And sometimes I still think, hey, I need to maybe just work it out, tough it out a little. But I'm like, no, at what cost? At the cost of my sanity, my peace, because I got to the point where I was having anxiety attacks in the middle of the day for no reason. For no reason at all. And I'm like, what is causing this? And even though I had a bunch of things going on, it was this one particular thing that just it kept bothering me and it was giving me anxiety. So it was starting to affect my mental health as well as my physical health. And that's when I was like, you know what? I can't do this. This is not for me anymore.
Mm.
So you have to know when to walk away from. So when it gets to that point where it's affecting your mental health as well as your physical health, you gotta walk away. You gotta walk away. There is nothing on God's green earth that is worth your mental health and your physical health to the point where you gotta hold on just because. Just because. And it could be a working relationship, a business relationship, just a relationship between your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. When it gets to that point where it's causing you so much mental anguish and you don't have any peace and you're losing sleep, you're losing weight, you can't eat, you can't drink, you just don't have any energy, you don't have the whatever to get up and go and do the things that you love to do, it's time for you to leave.
Mm.
Like it's just time for you to walk away. So that's why I chose this topic. So I'm gonna open the floor up for discussion.
Yeah, so with that, mentioned things, you're dealing with on your job and some things I want give a little insight and just piggyback off what Miss Frederica just spoke about. Um, in knowing when to walk away, I think it's important that we do our best as people, no matter how challenging it may be at times. We have to be careful on how we allow others to affect our emotions. There are some people right now, male and female, young and old, different backgrounds, different genders, different faiths, all different walks of life. And there's some people somewhere that just feel stuck and don't know what to do. But what I can appreciate is that Frederica opened up a part of a recent experience that was not easy, but she still chose to choose herself in the situation. Sometimes we talk ourselves up out of things. Sometimes we analyze, as she mentioned, she's very dear to things deal with children. We like familiarity. Those are our comfort zones. But even if your peace is being disturbed in the very spaces that you love and cherish so dear, it's not worth your peace. There is no perfect time, but when somebody shares, we don't like to hear that she went through what she went through, but we can appreciate the fact, and it gives most people some ease to know that they not going, it ain't just them. So, um, choose your peace. And you people need to be more intentional about we got to work on motivating ourselves even when we don't get it from the world. And we also have to work on how we spend our time and with whom we spend our time with. But don't jeopardize your peace. Frederica, you have anything else?
No, just to, just to say that like you'll know when the time is right to walk away. Some people sometimes walk away just based off of pure emotion and they don't really take the time to really think it through. Like, is it really time for me to walk away, or am I just walking away because somebody hurt my feelings for today? Because you're not always going to see eye to eye with everybody because everybody has their own opinion, their own perspective, just based off of their life experiences, their backgrounds, religion, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to really sit down and really think about it and really do some soul searching as to, is it really time for me to walk away, or do I just need to change the trajectory of this situation to make it more comfortable for everybody, including myself?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not able to change the trajectory of the situation, then maybe it is time for you to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I have.
So we want to thank those who are listening. Um, you know, hopefully you all gathered something from this. And if you know anybody or even yourselves, choose your peace. Choose your peace. So I want to give a couple of shout outs. We do want to thank Justin Wilson. He's not able to be here with us this evening, but we can appreciate everything that he does. Of course, we want to give a shout out to Miss Carrie Miller, um, business owner, Miss Yolanda McKenzie, Solo So High. Want to give a shout out to Mr. Lex Luger, Miss Miko Butler. Want to give a shout out to Miss Georgia Sloan. Miss Georgia Sloan, wonderful lady in the she's actually in the Pines, Madison, and Rankin County area. She's getting into, you know, selling professional products. We do want to make sure I give her a shout out as well. I want to give a couple more people shout outs. Miss Cynthia McClinty. She's local. She has her own tax business. Jared Jabot, want to give him a shout out. Me and Jared go way, way, way back. He's somebody that I have always looked up to, and somebody that's been on radio doing what he does for a while. So for Mr. Lex Luger, um, he has a long history of music and the entertainment industry, but he's been heading up first Sundays, Southern Soul Sundays down there at Ground Zero in Biloxi, and he's been doing that for a while, and that's taking off. So if you want to know anybody who started these first Sunday and third Sunday trends on Southern Soul, well, Mr. Lex Luger will have a lot to do with that. I also want to give a shout out to MK Collins and LaGee Summer. They are into customizing clothes and jackets and hats. So we give them want to give them a shout out as well. There are so many other names I could call, but I'm not going off a list. However, you all heard some names of some very connected um, people that I greatly look up to and people that I greatly respect when it comes to conducting business. When it comes to conducting business. Um, didn't give Frederica a shout out, but I want to give her a shout out because she's accepted a task and there are things that we're learning together, and I'm sure there are things that she understands that I don't quite understand, but we do want to give her a shout out. So she is truly shifting into being more of a face behind Letha's Real Talk, and we thank her for that. Um, we want to give a shout out to Tays and T Creative Barbecue, and I'm not going to take up too much more time because I do want to see if it's anybody. Frederica probably wanted to name because I think it's selfish to try to scroll. Frederica, anybody you want to give any shout outs to?
Um, just a quick shout out to just all of my family and my friends. And a quick shout out to the all of the upcoming seniors going into high school and college. But a very special shout out to all of the seniors at Murrah High School class of 2027. My daughter's graduating this year, y'all, and I'm so excited.
Yes, congratulations. We're gonna try something this year. We'll probably wait to announce it around February, but I mentioned to people God has been good. Sometimes we get into things that we may not know exactly how things are gonna turn out in those moments. But one thing we're gonna do, and there are gonna be requirements, and I did this some years ago when prime time came to Jackson State, and I'm gonna leave that alone, other than the fact I was willing to pay, and no parent even interest a parent for their child to even participate. But hey, this year, and we're not gonna say an amount, but the minimum would be $25. We're gonna come up with um an impromptu um message about something. And we'll try to have some of these wonderful people's names on, as well as people that Frederica and Justin may have on. And for those who are graduating, we would like to have them on and give up to, depending on the budget is rather small, but up to about maybe 6 people, the opportunity to talk no more than 4 minutes, because 4 minutes is a long time to talk, whether people believe it or not. 4 minutes is long to just rattle off the top of your head. And we'll try to put something together for participating. And then we'll have some people on, and if I can con them to participate in helping buying somebody's toilet paper, let them see whose message did they like the most, and then give them something a little extra. So I haven't failed yet. I don't plan on failing, and we don't plan on failing because there is no I in team. So that'll be something we could do. And y'all let us know what you think. Well, Frederica, we're gonna let you end this, and only thing I have to say is y'all listen to what she said. Choose your peace. Frederica, gonna let you close us out however you close us out, sweetie.
All right. I normally end with a prayer. I'm just gonna end with this saying: there's nothing too hard for God. Whatever it is that you got going on, no matter whether it's big, small, personal, professional, whatever the case may be, put it in the Lord's hands. He has it already worked out for you. Stop worrying about it, stop stressing about it, pray about it, and leave it alone. Because that's where your peace lies. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. And we will see y'all on the next go round.